Hey, this is Jared, and this is my voice 1 week on tea. Reminder that I've got 50 milligram tubes of Testim, 50 milligrams of testosterone, and that I'm doing half a tube for the first month and then a full tube every day after that. So the only changes I've actually noticed so far are acne. It's all up in here. You probably can't see it on the camera, which is nice. So on my calves, they're pretty hairy because they're hairy. But there are these kind of like bald spots on the back of them that might be getting filled in with these little blonde hairs. I'm not sure if they were there before or not, so that's kind of weird. The only thing that I'm having a problem with right now is how long the Testim takes to dry. Oh my gosh. But I think the instructions might say something like 5 to 10 minutes. No, it's like half an hour, and even then it's not completely done. On the bright side, though, I'm getting a bunch of reading done. Like, I just sit there and read a chapter or so of a book, and then it's mostly dry. I've tried blow drying it a little and like trying to hold the blow dryer kind of far away so that it doesn't get the heat on, but that's still like, I guess any kind of heat with the gel just makes it worse, so it basically never dries until you put a shirt on to soak it up and get stuck to it. And one of the other problems I noticed was I was putting it on right after I got out of the shower, so I guess my shoulders had absorbed shower water and therefore couldn't also absorb Testum. I want to make a video about pre-tea hair and like cutting your hair pre-tea, because I've spent like over a year kind of perfecting what works for my head and my style. And I think that some of it is pretty universal. And assuming the tea kicks in, I'm not going to be able to talk about it and be able to point to things at some point, I guess. So basically, short hair, obviously, that's a given. I like to cut it short on the sides and back, and then a bit longer up top. I cut my hair myself. I picked up like a $10 beard and mustache trimmer from the Kmart, and it just plugs into the wall and you just zip and you're done. So the first thing that everybody tells you everywhere about cutting your hair, sideburns, you have to square them off. You can't just have a pointy little whatchamajigger. So the thing I do to try to make that less awful is when I'm doing the sides, I try to like come up a bit so it doesn't look like I've got a random strand of hair going down, because I cut my sides really short. It's because my hair grows so fast, I have to cut it like every month and a half to 2 months. The other thing is you want to make sure you've squared off the back of your neck, and if you're going to a barber, they're going to do that anyway. Something I do myself maybe not every day, but like every other day or whenever I'm going to meet people, is shaving my hairline. That when you go on testosterone, your hairline recedes. And it doesn't recede into male pattern baldness unless you've got those genes. So just look at the men in your family on both sides. And so it basically like recedes off your faceplate, which is what I call this thing. Turn that way, there we go. So I guess my actual hairline is like somewhere around here. And I kind of shave it into this square shape. So basically I just shave my forehead into like a more square shape. And the reason I think it works is because before I did that, I would have like a little bit of bangs in my face, which made me look 12. To hide my hairline, and then after that, I was wearing my hair up and showing the forehead, and that really, suddenly after that I was passing a lot, and before the bangs I would comb it up, but people were still reading female. I can't remember if I was doing anything differently in the way that I dressed or presented at that time, so it's not very scientific. Next week I'll talk about HRT. And then I've got in the queue a video about how I knew I was trans, that video, like that everybody has to do at some point, I guess. And also a video about kind of what I've been doing to try to contain the testosterone to make sure I don't like transfer it to my mom somehow. And if you want to hear anything else, leave a comment, send me a message, whatever. And if I think I can actually talk about it for an amount of time, then I'll put it in the queue for making a video. Yeah. So I'll see you next week.